Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Is the sound okay? Just making sure. Hello, Debbie. Great to see you in here. Awesome. That's pretty good. We got a bunch of the usual suspects in here. We got a bunch of the weekly webinar subscribers in here too. I don't think it's going to be very interesting for you, but always awesome to have you in here. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Hello, 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 hello. This is 50 pips rocking and rolling 29th 2014. Now again, what we're doing here is we're not going to be looking at charts. We're not doing any trade calls or anything. The whole point of this session is just to take a look at some, talk about the weekly webinar series. I've just got some charts up so I can keep an eye on some things. But basically, the question is, right, what are the weekly webinar series and what do they do and what can you expect? So we did. I have a frequently asked questions post up on the blog, which I think, or at least I thought, answered all the questions, but people keep on having questions, and even though I think it's fairly clear, but apparently it's not. So we're just going to go through it. So if anybody has any questions on the sessions, just shoot. If not, I'm just going to freewheel and talk about them for a bit and see if we can clarify some things. I'll probably use that frequently asked questions as a guide to just talk through it so I can expand on any point or any answer that may not be clear for anybody, okay? So first things, and when are they held, right? Because some people see me tweeting out about impromptu sessions and stuff. Well, basically, the sessions are held, they're on New York time and they're scheduled around New York time, right? So they start at 8:45 New York time, so Eastern, and they finish at 10 a.m. Eastern, so that's an hour and a quarter. And they run from Monday to Thursday, so that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 4 times a week. However, on the Fridays where we have non-farm payrolls, we'll have a session. So on those weeks, it's 5 sessions a week. Then because we're one big happy family, if something happens on one of the 3 Fridays every month where we're not scheduled to have a session, I'll do a 30-minute update, kind of like the one I posted on YouTube last Friday. So it's all about having a good group of people. We're a bit of like a family. And basically, you know, if there's not a lot, if there's something interesting going on and I have some time, I'll do an extra session on the Friday, even though it's not scheduled. Another example is like on Monday. Monday is a public holiday in the US, so we're on US time. So normally we shouldn't have a session on Monday. There's no weekly webinar on Monday. However, because I think it's an interesting day, because I think it's the first day of September, flows will start to come back into the market because I think it's an interesting day in terms of Europe data and I will be around trading, I'm going to do a session anyway, right? So if that lasts the full length of the session, I don't know. If the market's slow, it might last less. So basically, it's on US time. It's the standard sessions is what's written on the blog, but we're very flexible, and you know, we tend to do more than really the contract states. But you know, I don't like it's just free flowing. Okay, so does that make sense? Hey Chris, how's it going? Okay, yeah. That's a good point. You know, it is like it's like a morning call. You know, the point is, I call them weekly webinar sessions or weekly learning group just for the reason that I didn't want to market them as come into my trading room kind of thing, right? I don't want to market it as a get rich quick scheme or signal service. The whole point is to help people understand what's happening, give them both sides of the market, etc., 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 right? So we have a lot of different people in the webinar series. You know, we've got junior traders, we've got professional traders, we have hedge fund managers in there, we have people who trade part-time, guys who trade full-time, guys who work and are trying to make a transition or trying to learn about trading and they don't follow the markets live during the day, so they'll just watch the recording when they come home. So because it's live, it's as if they were there live. So it really depends, but effectively it is like a morning call. You know, it's like a morning call. It's every morning we look at the charts and we say what's happening in the market, right? What's happened based on what we said the previous day or the previous session? What are the longs doing? What are the shorts doing? And this is the way we think We have more odds to trade the long side or the short side. If you're looking to trade the short side, these are possible trades to the short side on this specific chart. If you prefer the long side, these are ways we would trade the long side. Why do we think on an intraday basis it might make more sense to play long, whereas on a swing basis we might be positioned short? You know, we talk all about these things, but the difference, the big difference as opposed to a morning call is that instead of just talking about an outlook on a chart, we look at a chart and we detail why we would do something. And the whole point is so you don't need me, right? Is that you learn how to look at the market, how a professional trader would look at the market, and how to make decisions yourself. Then a lot of people, even though they don't need to be in the sessions, they like being in the sessions because they like an unbiased opinion. They like to have my view. They like to have a direct link to me. You know, the point is that in the questions we have a Q&A box, right? Like here, it's not visible to everybody, but so I tackle any questions. So there's a lot of people who like to have my view, say, hey, 50, I'm trading this kind of strategy. This is the trade I'm in. What do you think? Or I'm managing my position like this. Do you like it? How would you do it? Do you think it's smart or not? Whatever. And I can give you my view. So it's a direct link. Now, of course, the point of the sessions is not there to just you know, discuss everybody's question in detail. But of course, anybody who's in there has a question. I'll try to get to it anyway. The point is, I get to all the questions. I've never had to deal with silly questions, and there's no silly questions, but we've never had any, in brackets, jokers signing up, so that's good. And the whole premise of the webinars is that the subscription service is going to stay open as long as I feel I can still handle the question load. The moment I start getting too many questions, then that's going to be finished, game over. I'm going to close the subscriptions, because the whole point is not to have as many people in there. It's just trying to really form a family or a group of people with a solid understanding of the market, no BS approach, and you know, and having a daily morning call together and just talking about the market and trying to help everybody get where they need to be. So I wouldn't worry about the Q&A. You know, I tackle every single question that comes through. That's whatever chart we need to look at. As long as the chart's on the platform, I can get it up. We'll look at it. No big deal. The day there's too many questions, that's going to be easy. I'm just going to take away the subscribe link on the blog, and that's how we'll handle it, right? So a lot of people say, so why, how are they different to the Sunday webinars you used to do, right? I mean, the way those Sunday webinars, they're similar, right? The Sunday webinars, I just used to go through all the charts and say what I'd expect to see the week ahead, right? Now, the difference with those Sunday webinars is I try and do one of those every quarter now, but they've been replaced by the YouTube videos simply because a lot of people that couldn't attend live, they prefer to watch a 10-15-minute YouTube video with the more interesting things than try to find something on a 1-hour recording. So that's why we do that. So that works. But basically, they're similar to that. The only difference is that what we do is that we focus on you know, every single chart in more detail, and we actually talk about what we feel the bias is and how we think the longs or shorts are trading it, and what we think the better odds are. So it's a lot more in-depth look, right? And it's more hands-on approach, right? Yeah, you know, there's a lot more talk about intraday, intra-week dynamics, because also those Sunday webinars, they're recorded on a Sunday and people are going to look at them on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Some people don't get to them until Wednesday, so there's no point looking at something on a 15-minute chart because it's probably not going to be relevant. So those are more of a longer work, right? Yeah, and it's all about getting, you know, if you want to do this seriously, you know, how you would approach it, how you would look at psychology, how you would look at price action, how you would look at odds, how you would look at setups, all in the context of that day, right? Yeah, exactly. Hold on, let me look at some questions. Thanks, Debbie. So, you know, that's exactly, you know, that's the way we look at it. And the whole point is that the reason I do these, and to a certain extent, they're going to be very repetitive because trading is a very boring thing to do and it's very repetitive. But the whole difference is anybody can buy a book, anybody can read a strategy or whatever. But the point is, how come all these strategies that so-called work very easily or you've got a set of rules, just follow them and then you'll make money. It doesn't work because the context is very different live, right? Live, you're going to have to deal with greed. You're going to have to deal with emotions, panic, euphoria, whatever. You have to deal with your psychology and your emotions. And what the webinars do is there's no BS. Every day we're live, right? There's no recorded, there's no PowerPoint presentation telling you how the wave structure played out, how to make a gazillion pips. No, none of that crap, right? It's live. So we're saying this is what's happening live. This is what we think is going to happen. This is why we think this is going to happen. This is why we don't think this is going to happen. We think these two things can happen, but this is more likely than the other one. If the other thing is going to happen, it's probably going to happen in 2 days' time, in 3 days' time, or at the end of the week. And this is how we would trade it. And then, you know, you can see, you hang around for the week or for your monthly subscription, you see, if we tend to get it right, well, then it means we know what we're talking about and you're going to stay on a sub. If what we say is going to happen never happens, then it's quite easy. You just press the cancel subscription and that's finished, right? Of course, we think the former is going to happen rather than the latter. So that's the point, right? It's also how to deal with things when they happen, when the trade's going against you, when the trade's going in your favor, how to deal with what's happening. You know, we've got sessions when nothing's happening, the market's dead. So how to deal with a market that's not moving, how to deal with the boredom, you know, how to not to get chopped up. We have a market that's trending. We have a market that's ranging. We're in the market and all of a sudden there's a big news release and stuff starts to move. How to deal with that. We're on the market. We've been live when SMB has started intervening, you know, and we've had moves and we've kept people out of a lot of trouble. So that's what the focus is, and that's what the real value of it, in my opinion. The real value of it is that it's live. That's the whole point. So if you're and people don't understand that the basics are not that complicated. You can read a book, you can read up on candle patterns, you can read up on different strategies, right? But at the end of the day, when you have to implement it, we firmly believe that there's one thing that money can't buy, and that is what we call screen time or experience, right? You know, you can demo as much as you want, but it's never the same as live watching the charts and experiencing the emotions of not having a position in different kinds of market live. That you can't buy. If you can't accept that, you're going to have a hard time as a trader. You're going to have to be patient and just sit through it. It just takes time to put in the screen time. And what we do with these weeklies is day in, day out, we put in the screen time with the commentary and the learning overlaid on top of it, right? That's the key. That's the key thing, right? Okay, so let me see if we have actually, I'll go through the thing and then I'll deal with I'll keep all the questions and I'll tackle all the questions at the end. If not, it's going to break, okay? So we got a bunch of questions. I'll tackle them at the end, right? So, another question a lot of time is, do you call your trades, right? You know, as I said, this is not a signal service, but naturally we look at both sides of the market, right? We look at setups, we look at how to engage in a responsible manner. Again, the focus is not on calling trades, but understanding, you know, how these setups are being traded and can be traded in different strategies and why they make sense on one strategy, why they don't make sense on the other strategy, how both longs and shorts can make money in the same move, looking at it in a different way, right? We look at these trades. Again, I'll disclose all my open positions. Usually I just talk, I very openly talk about my trades. A lot of times I'll be reviewing a chart and somebody's just going to ask, hey, 50, you got an open position on this? And I'll just say, yes, I'm long. No, I'm short. No, I don't have a position. This is why I have a position. This is why I don't have a position. If you want to know where I'm long, I'll show you where I'm long. If you want to know where my stop is, I'll tell you where my stop is. That's no big deal, right? But if you sign up just to know what I'm doing, don't do it. It's a waste of time because it's not going to help you long term. Because even though it might help you short term, the moment I stop doing the webinars, you're back to square one. And the point is not to hand you a fish, is to teach you how to fish, right? So yeah, and in terms of instruments, as I said, you know, anything that the charting platform we're on the DEMA MT4, as long as that as long as the chart's on there, I'll look at it. I couldn't care less if it's shrimp futures or whatever. As long as it's on there, we'll look at it, right? There's no big deal. I have no preference. Of course, I prefer to focus on the most liquid instruments because I think we have more edge and they're more technical, but we'll look at anything, right? From a monthly to any chart, any instrument, we really don't care. What's important also by looking at a lot of different things, people interested in different charts, is that you get a lot of different learning instances, right? What's important is a chart is a chart, so it doesn't matter what instrument it is. So the whole point is that even if you're not in a trade on NZD-JPY, for example, or you'd never consider trading that, the technicals that are playing out on the chart in terms of support, resistance, cycles, non-cycles, stop hunts, etc., are going to be the same across the board. So by looking through all the charts, it always gives you more instances of learning, more occurrences of chances of you learning things, learning setups, and understanding how the market works. Usually on top of it, if it's on a chart you don't have a position on or you don't have a bias on, it tends to work even better because you tend to assimilate the learning experience in a lot more, right? And really, as I said, in terms of the other question that comes up a lot is, what experience do I need? And again, there's no experience. There's there's everything from novice to fund managers in the sessions, right? Doesn't matter. There's people who will ask questions, and good questions are great because they serve everybody else in the room, because usually there's a couple of people who ask really good questions that other people may have at the back of their mind but don't really formulate, and so all the questions are answered live, so they help everybody, right? That's why also I don't answer questions that people try to send me through the blog. If you're subscribed to the weekly sessions, the whole point is ask it live so everybody can profit from it, right? And again, there's people who like to ask questions. There's people who just like to sit there and never ask a question, never say hi, and just listen. It doesn't matter, right? There's people who just like to look at the recording. Everybody does whatever they want, right? And again, if you can't attend live, you'll get the recordings, right? Another question a lot of people say is, again, and we touched on this a bit before, do I get any study materials, right? And the whole point, it's not a set course, right? We're holding live sessions on real-time experience. And again, as I said, I believe in the value of live, and that's the best way to understand the market dynamics, is to go everything through in a live environment, right? So hindsight's 2020, the focus is live, and even if you haven't watched the market, you're watching the recording, it's still live for you. So you can get plenty of textbooks, you can get plenty of stuff to explain the technicals and stuff. What this is about taking it live, right? It's not the books, it's not planning. This is about real life scenarios, real life situations, right? The other question a lot of people say, if I subscribe, can I listen to all the other recordings that of all the backlog of recordings, etc.? And the answer is no. The way the software works, it's all automatic, so it takes care of all the passwords and everything. So you only have access to the sessions that were recorded while you were an active subscriber, and the day you're no longer an active subscriber, you no longer have access to the recordings, because the whole database is one whole database. There's no way to just access the ones you were paying for, so that's the way it works. Again, questions are always welcome. There's a bunch of questions. Everybody can ask a question. Again, for the sign up, that's just through the PayPal link on the blog. A lot of guys asking what happens if I don't have PayPal. The answer is, I'm sorry, that's the only option. Again, it's just too time consuming to have to deal with any other kind of payments or anything. So PayPal is the only option, right? There's no minimum subscription period. Again, it's a recurring payment, PayPal payment. So you sign up on the 1st of the month, on the 7th of the month, on the 29th of the month. PayPal will charge you every month on that specific day, and you can cancel whenever you want. You just go back into your PayPal and you say cancel subscription, and that's done. So effectively your risk is 1 month subscription at a time. When you subscribe, you get an email from automatic email saying welcome, an email with your Adobe account and everything. So that's all sorted. Just keep in mind that your PayPal email attached to your PayPal account is the one everything's going to be sent to, and it's not easy to change. in terms of holiday schedule. Again, we don't really have a fixed holiday schedule, like Monday's a holiday in the US, but we'll have a session. Usually we'll just be off when the market's really dead and there's no edge. So we'll be dead the week between Christmas and New Year's, and we'll be off on the midweek of August. Apart from that, we're pretty much there on and on. If we ever have to take a day off, we'll make it up. It's no big deal. And in terms of free trials, there's no free trials because there's a bunch of stuff on the blog to get you a good idea of what's going on. You're too nice. Hey Knud, how's it going, man? So you know, a lot of people say, well, why should I sign up? Well, again, I don't know why you should sign up, because I don't know what your specific situation is, right? What I said, you know, when people ask that question, what I wrote on the blog is, you know, most traders fail because they never put themselves in a position to succeed, and that's what we tackle. The webinar provides a real and live learning experience that can be used in various ways. Again, all kind of people subscribe, some attend live. You know, it really depends. I just think that what we do in the webinar, it is, I like to call it a well-kept secret in the sense that not a lot of people do this, and it's very difficult to get this kind of experience, right? Because again, the basics, this is a business where, you know, the whole process of trading is quite simple, but it's not easy, right? And what makes it tricky is going live, understanding how to manage risk, how to manage emotions, the whole live aspect to it. And that it's impossible to teach with a book or through a DVD or something like that. That's why I always say, you know, I'm not going to be writing a book, I'm not going to be recording DVDs, because the moment it's happened, it's just not that useful in the way I look at things and the way I like to progress students and traders, right? So I firmly believe that the real value is the fact that it's live, and that's the only way, or that's the only way I feel comfortable in trying to take people forward, or trying to charge to take people forward, because that's the only way I think is really going to help you. Everything else is interesting, but I don't think it's as valuable as that. You know, and that's why different people respond to different things. That's why we also have the one-to-one, but that's why there's a bunch of stuff on the blog. That's why I do free videos. That's why I do free webinars. That's why I post charts, right? Whatever works for you, right? Question, if I was just wondering if you could show the trades you took this week and why were they were taking. Well, no, not really, because that's not the point of the session. The point of the session is just to explain what's going on in the weekly webinars. Again, if you're interested just in the trades, these sessions are not for you, right? If you're just interested in the trades I take, you're missing the point of the sessions. The point of the sessions is not about me, is not about the trades I take, right? A lot of people are always focused on, you know, what somebody's doing, what somebody else is doing, what trades somebody else is taking. And what you're going to have a tough time as a trader unless you realize that doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter, because everybody has a different strategy. Everybody has different risk profile. Everybody has different capital. Everybody has a different kind of account they're trading. So what they're doing doesn't really matter unless it's comparable to you, right? Unless you trade a strategy that's very similar to mine, unless you have a psychology that's very similar to mine, unless you're putting through the same amount of trade size that I'm putting on, etc., etc., what I'm actually doing doesn't really matter. What matters is support, resistance, why price stops in one place, why price doesn't stop in another place, why this is a good time to engage, why this is a better time not to engage, etc., etc. Why this point is important from a cyclical perspective, why this point is important from an intraday perspective. Then how you trade it, it doesn't matter, right? There could be two people taking opposite trades every day of the week, and both people make money on each trade, right? So forget about what other people are doing, how other people are trading. Try to focus on finding the best way for you to trade. But even before that, try to focus on understanding how the market works, why the market works the specific way. And once you've done that, then you can try and leverage that to find your own trading strategy. Okay. Do you have any comments or questions? Any other comments or questions? I think I've tackled pretty much. I'm just going through some of the questions, right? Yeah, sure. We'll talk. I really, there's nothing that's really taboo, right? We'll tackle any question that's relevant to the. Of course, you can ask about my golf game, but I don't think that's going to be very interesting, or how much I squat or deadlift, but I don't think that's going to be interesting to everybody else, right? The only thing we don't do, which is also due to legal kind of things. I can't show you my live platform. I can't show you my live trades because then you go into all kinds of regulatory issues and stuff like that. That's why we use the demo platform, etc. Right? But there's no problem. And then what's interesting, a lot of people actually again, the dynamics of the webinar is going to depend a lot on the market dynamics, right? When market's moving, we might be saying, okay, there's a lot of trades setting up, this is setting up, this is setting up, we would do this, we would do that. When the market is dead, there's nothing going on, right? If we've got a 1 hour session and price is not going anywhere, like euro and cable and everything staying in a 10 pip range, there's nothing to do, right? So I can tap dance, get my guitar out and sing a song, but essentially there's nothing to do, right? And what a lot of people do, a lot of people prefer those sessions simply because since we have more time, usually you'll get me ranting a lot more about the state of affairs, about the Forex industry or God knows what, and people tend to like the rants. Or we talk about all kinds of questions, right? So the other day, I think it was yesterday, we had so it was pretty slow. So we talked a bit about, everything from Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus to, leverage, understanding leverage, what leverage can do. We were talking about it doesn't make sense to have a limit down day, limit down week, limit down month from a trader. We're talking about what does scalability means, how to plan your progress to get, anything, any question that comes up. The only thing is that when the market is moving, the focus is on charts. When the market is slow, we can talk about other things, whatever we want to, right? So we can expand a lot more. Thanks for the time. So about 4 sessions a month. Is it fixed schedule time? Sorry if you've already discussed this, I'm late. Again, so see, it's good to do these sessions because I always think things are clear and they're not really clear. So thanks for asking. As it says on the blog and as I was discussing before, it's actually 4 sessions a week, right? You have a session Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On the weeks, when you have non-farm payrolls, you also have a session on Friday. So that means on general, out of 4 weeks in a month, you've got 3 weeks with 4 sessions a month, and you have 1 week with 5 sessions. So that means you have 17 sessions a month, right? So essentially that means it's kind of like 19 and a half hours live with me, if you can bear that every month, if my math is correct. Exactly. You have to listen to me for about 19 hours. That's quite shocking. I just realized that's 19 hours or so a month. So essentially you're almost a full day, 24 hours of me rambling, right? So yeah, right. And again, 8:45 New York time to 10 a.m. New York time. Again, if you go on the blog, on the Learn page, there's a page called Learn. There you've got the link to the frequently asked questions, and all this stuff is written there, right? I'll put it again when I post the recording on the blog. I'll put another link to the frequently asked questions so you can read through that in case you miss something. Again, another thing a lot of people ask, some people are wondering, they miss stuff on Twitter. If you're interested in the stuff I put out, just sign up to the blog, right? There's a button on the bottom of the blog somewhere that just sign up for email. And basically, I don't even have your email. I don't know what your email is. I can't do anything with it. It's just WordPress that automatically does that. So the only thing that's going to happen is every time I post something on the blog, you're going to get it in your inbox. So there's no spam, there's not something, so you don't miss anything. Usually it's about 2 to 3 posts a day I'll post the thought of the day, and I'll post a couple of charts every day. So it's going to be 3 emails every day, right? So 3 lines on your email if you're on Outlook or something like that. If you're on Gmail or something, you'll probably recognize in one sender, and you'll just have 1 line with 3 new emails from there. So it's not the end of the world, right? Okay, cool. Bunch of questions on charts, on what cable's doing, what euro's doing. Again, as I said in the post on the blog at the beginning, I'm not here to review charts. I just have some charts up because I'm looking at the market. I just have a bunch of screens up. I got some stuff taken up, so I was just having a look at this, and also because if not, it's going to be a pain if I upload something to YouTube with no video, no image. So I'm going to upload this for whoever missed it, but I'm not looking at any charts today. This week I'll do a Sunday, I'll probably do a Sunday video on YouTube, so we'll do that 12-15 minute video. We'll probably do, I don't know, I guess we'll do Euro cable and probably ES or something. We might do Euro, you know, we'll do 3-4 charts just to try and keep it at the under the 15-minute mark, so it's not too long. Okay. Any other comments? Any other questions? How long have we been going for? I can't even remember. It's been what, 30 minutes or something? Debbie's my official timekeeper. Yeah. Okay, rock and roll. Yeah, so again, I think it's interesting. I think that covers pretty much everything else, unless anybody has more. Oh, here, we got some more questions. Shoot. Last round of questions. We'll talk about anything. The focus of the sessions is on technicals. Right? The question is how much technical, how much fundamentals? Is it just technical? We talk about technicals because we believe that's where you have an edge. Talking about fundamentals, there's a lot more money behind that. There's a lot of smarter people. There's banks with a gazillion analysts doing the analysis, and at the end of the day, we don't think there's a lot of edge there. We feel the edge on the retail trader is trading techs, is taking a technical approach to the market, a level approach to the market, and that's what we focus on. Naturally, when there are some fundamental considerations, we will take those in mind. Well, you know, we were live once when we had SMB on the wire intervening. Everybody was trying to get long. We said, you know, blah, 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 don't get long. It trembled, you know. We were live when Draghi said he'd be comfortable cutting rates. And again, we said the only thing you can do is sell, right? And we discussed why that. But really, that is marginal. If we have to, we'll talk about the fundamentals. If we don't have to, we'll happily stay away with them, from them. Okay, that's the bottom line. Good stuff, rock and roll. Okay, guys, so listen, I'll post the recording. Thanks for listening. I'll put it up on YouTube. Have an awesome one. Stay safe, everybody, and thanks for listening. I hope you guys have a super great weekend and an awesome long weekend for those of you that are having a long weekend, okay? Take care. Bye-bye, guys.